Hello and welcome back to the Trainerize YouTube channel. This video is especially exciting because we're joined by 3 trainers who are absolutely excelling in the online fitness world and blowing up their businesses on social media. Sarah Holden is an online trainer who has grown her following to over 150,000 followers since the pandemic began. Our second guest, Quan Bailey, has also been using social media to build an account with almost 30,000 followers and built an incredible client base. Finally, Michelle Riley earns over $10,000 per month as an online personal trainer with only 1,500 followers. So no matter what size of following you have, these coaches are going to share tips on using social media to create a thriving online business. When it comes to social media, what is your personal strategy? Michelle, do you want to kick this one off?
Sure. So my personal strategy when it comes to social media is just being as transparent as I can to my niche. Because again, you kind of highlighted that I'm very niched with trainer for the modern woman. So I use my phone and my Insta stories and my posts as if I'm reaching out to that specific person, as if the phone isn't even there. And I actually get a lot of feedback. They're like, wow, I just felt like you were talking to me. It's so authentic. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's what I'm trying to give off. So that's kind of the tip I would give there, is just to really act, again, sometimes it's hard to act like the phone's not there, but try your best to talk as if you're directing that message directly towards the person that you want as the client. So.
That makes sense. And Quan, what about you? What is your strategy?
Production quality. I realized that, especially moving to California, I was kind of humbled in the sense of there's a lot of people and trainers that do things like I do, right? I like to think I'm special, but I'm not that special, not that different. And what I realized during the pandemic was I need to do things at a higher level. So I started studying like videography and editing, as you guys have seen over time. And I found that if the more things I show within my content and the more I focus on mental health, which was something I was struggling with during the pandemic, the more people can relate. And that doesn't have to do with sales. It's just more of having someone to talk to and reach out to. And I found that to be extremely helpful over time, like just to keep myself going along with the clients.
I really like that aspect of not just making it about like external fitness, but also like internal mental health as well. That is important. Another thing that we haven't mentioned as well is like this has actually led you to start somewhat of a media company on the side. Is this still something you're working on and working towards?
Oh, yes. The funny thing is I don't even post it as much on Instagram anymore, but I've really gotten good with drone like photography and videography, like cloning, so I can make multiple people really well. And I've actually started to integrate some of that into my Trainerize, where I'll have a video where I'm working out, but then I am also showing you how, talking to myself. It's a really hilarious process. You guys should see it. You should see it because it's funny. I wish I should post the behind the scenes because you're just talking to no one. But it's a cool way to kind of be interactive and make money on the side as well. Is helping people do those things for their businesses as well, like other trainers.
Absolutely. And Sarah, what about you? What would you say your strategy is going into, the online marketing on social media?
I think I agree a lot with Michelle. You have to be real and relatable. If you go in there pretend you're someone you're not, then it just doesn't come across well. So I think completely be yourself. And if you need to be posting helpful content for people, I think most of my clients will have saved or messaged or something on Instagram a few times before they actually become a client, so interacting with your followers as much as possible and being as helpful and real as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think people underestimate the value of those touch points of answering every DM, because even if somebody's not asking hey, can you train me and signing on to a plan right away, that doesn't mean that they're not already in your kind of sales funnel in that journey. So really nurturing those people through until they do become a paid client. So some of you guys mentioned filming short Instagram sequences that add a lot of value. I've noticed that this has become a trend, and a lot of the people who are getting a lot of really great organic reach are creating this sort of useful content online. So could you guys tell me a little bit more about your strategy and maybe some tips and advice around creating consumable, bite-sized video content for Instagram?
Yeah, sure. So before, probably about a year ago, I used to always, when I was doing workout videos, I would post it as a video, which I did because you always got more views than likes, so you know it looked better. But then I realized actually, like, if that was me watching a video, I just want to find how to do one exercise and you have to watch the whole video again. So I found doing the carousels way more effective, because people can just swipe, oh, I know how to do that, I know how to do that, and then they can watch whatever that they need to see. And I find on the carousel type posts, you get way more saves and interaction than you do on if you post a workout video, for me anyway, personally.
Absolutely. Quan, do you have anything to add to that?
So being on Instagram for so long, I had the same issue you had about being stuck at a certain follower base for a while. I was stuck at like 12 to 15,000 for a very long time, and I found out that photos, people are desensitized to photos at this point. They're so used to it. Like they see an attractive person or an in-shape person, it doesn't inspire them like it used to, say in 2016 or 17. The carousel post became awesome because not only can you share information, but sometimes at the end, I would even share like a little motivational pick-me-up, like, all right, guys, this is why we have to do this, why we have to be moving, why we have to get up. But also from an algorithm perspective, with the carousel post, it pops up in a person's feed as many times as there's a carousel. So throughout the day, if there's just swiping, that first post could pop up, that second one could pop up, that third one could pop up. So if they didn't like it the first time, you're gonna keep coming back to them. So sometimes I'll put certain types of movements in there to increase my reach and help people to see what I'm trying to get them to see.
I had no idea about that. I didn't know that they'll repost your content based on every slide of the carousel. That's great.
It pops up at different times.
Yeah.
Cool. And Michelle, did you have anything to add on that note as well?
Yes, definitely. I love to do those little clips like Sarah was saying, like they like to skip to the ones that they need. So the ones that I get a lot of engagement from are like my technique fixing ones. So I'll be like, you might be doing a squat like this, try it like this. You might be doing a push up like this, try it like this. They love that one. I get a lot of DMs from that one that I had no idea. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's take this a step further. Just kind of have like an organic conversation into driving them into like one of my clients. So that's been a really helpful tool for me as well.
So I'm gonna skip to a question a little bit more about the algorithm. So a lot of you said that saves are incredibly important to having your content be further discovered and further shared. What are some of the mechanics of the algorithm right now that you know of? Like, what are some tips? What are some tricks?
I work with a lot of creators that are much larger than me, like people who 500,000 and millions of followers and subscribers. It's insane right now how important how people's attention span is getting shorter. So Instagram introducing Reels earlier last year, it didn't really do what it started doing now until very recently. The this or that post that one of you spoke on earlier, it's going nuts. So like if the push-up form being incorrect, going to correct, if you put that in a Reel form and put some sort of voiceover or like a motivational thing on there, those are going insane. I'm not a person that averages a super ton of likes. Like my average is like 500 to 600. But when I do like a 3 or 4 exercise reel, they've been getting like ridiculous engagement from me, like 2,000 all the way up to 15,000 likes. And then with reels, you can't see how much they're being shared, but I feel like the shares are going insane. Like last year, carousels were the big thing, but right now reels, if you can edit it properly, 15 seconds to like 20 seconds, with 3 to 4 exercises, I've seen insane growth across all sizes of accounts.
Wow. And I guess right now Instagram is probably incentivized because they're really in a space where they're competing with TikTok. Is this correct?
Absolutely. It's a slugfest right now.
Wow. Well, that's good to know. Does anybody else have algorithm tips or tricks that they've noticed, things that have really like boosted their chance of having their content being seen and consumed?
On that. So I learned this a while back. So, and I'm sure you all know this as well too, but every time someone comments, always comment back. So with other trainers, just always comment, even if it's like that random, like shout at us for a DM, just do like an emoji back, because that kind of boosts that visibility. And whenever the comments start coming in and I comment back, that's when the more engagement happens from them as well. So always kind of responding back to those.
That's good to know. Sarah, did you have anything to add?
I just agree with the reels as well. Reels are crazy. Like the views compared to a normal post, I don't even understand how a lot of mine have got like 500,000 plus, like one hit 1 million, which I would never get on a main page post. So yeah, it's crazy, they can go viral. So yeah, I agree about the reels.
Absolutely. So after you put all this effort into your social media, I'd like to know, like, what is the ROI? Like, how many of these people who are coming and seeing all of your content and consuming it, liking it, commenting, whatever, how many of those people are then becoming clients?
Since I have like a smaller following, I can like pinpoint where exactly they come from, which is pretty good too. Honestly, as soon as I see someone make that engagement with like a comment or something, I can then direct that into like a direct message. And usually, I mean, most of the time they've already been watching my stuff for a while, but this is finally the time they made that kind of touch point. And then when we get into that conversation, usually it's like 70% I can lead them into a prospect, into a client. So
that's a really high conversion rate.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's super high. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What about you, Quan?
My conversion rate is far lower than that. So like I said, I track the saves. I try to put them into my spreadsheet just to see like how many like new messages I get that day for training. And it's, like I said, every 1,000 or so, it's really only like, every 100 or so, it's like 2 or 3 messages. In terms of converting those people into clients, I probably convert like 1 out of every 10 of those messages into a client. And the lifespan of that client, it's actually only 90 days to 120 days, which is like, I'm trying to get that number up, but people seem to kind of have like trainer ADD right now. Like they're like super excited to work with this guy, and then they're like, oh, well, this girl's awesome. And then so everyone's kind of like bouncing around. At least in my experience, maybe that's something I need to work on, but I'm just speaking on the experience that I've seen. But yeah, it's really interesting, especially tracking the numbers. It gets discouraging, but also like exciting at the same time, depending on what you're looking at.
I would still say that a 10% conversion rate is pretty strong considering the volume of like views and stuff that you're getting is on a larger scale. Like I would say that's still quite strong.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That because I have such a small following, that's why the numbers look different. So
yeah.
Right. You're still killing it though.
The reason we kind of brought all of you guys on is because you're all at different points in terms of follower base. So you each have a bit of a different approach, like Sarah at over 100,000, Quan at 25,000, and Michelle at 1,400. Like everybody has a different size of business, but we want to find the tips and share it with the community that's right for every size of business. So no matter what stage you're at now, you can know how to grow and get to that next level. So all of you have like super valid experience, and we think it's amazing to bring you together and hear all different perspectives. On that note, Sarah, make sure to check out our other videos on social media and how to build a strong online business. Also, if you're new to training online, you can start your free 30-day trial of Trainerize by clicking on the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.